Oh,
what?
Right, it's over here.
Today we're going to look at something a little bit different than we normally look at. This is a 2007 CRV that's JDM. Now you might be wondering why we're going to look at just a CRV. That's because lately we've been absolutely inundated with people asking us for what a cheap car to buy is. And this offers great value for money. So this 2007 CRV is powered by the K24 with 166 horsepower, 166 pound-feet of torque, 103,000 kilometers. So it offers really good value for money. It's been really well taken care of. It actually came into from Japan very recently into Canada. It had full cool and flush because our climate, you just have to do that. We get -40 sometimes, like we did a couple weeks ago, which kind of explains our little bit of a break in videos. So we always do coolant flush on these things when they come in. It's just necessary. It had a bunch of brake work done to it. It had a new battery put in it. Also Japanese batteries. They just don't fare well in our climate either. And it also had timing cover reseal, which is a really common problem on these too. So that's all been taken care of. It's ready to go for a family or someone that just needs a cheap SUV to get around. So taking a close look at the headlight here, it's actually got a projector lens in it, which is not very common. You never see that in North America. It's actually specific to JDM models. So we get the upgraded headlights straight off the bat.
So around back of this 07 CRV, it looks almost identical to everything else that's US market specific. So there's not really a whole lot of difference between the USDM or Canadian market vehicles and the Japanese vehicles. As far as this particular vehicle is concerned, because we are selling it, we're just going to point out a few things that we've noticed just in terms of flaws or whatever. There's a little bit of a dent in the trunk here, but there's no paint missing, there's no chips or anything like that, which is a really good sign. And just this the lower valence here is popped out a little bit right around there, but otherwise it's in really remarkable condition. I mean, again, this car only has 103,000 kilometers, which is just in comparison to pretty much anything else that's USDM or that's domestic, you're not going to find anything with mileage this low. These cars are daily driven, and this one in particular being 18 years old, I mean, wait, what is that, 15, 16, 17? 7 is 4, yeah, 17 years old. Being 17 years old and only having 100,000 kilometers on it, I mean, you've got so much life left with a vehicle like this, and that's the beauty of JDM vehicles. They're almost all super low mileage. There's not a whole lot of highways in Japan. It's mostly city driving, shorter trips, or they don't drive at all and they just have the car. They'll use like the metro systems and that sort of thing. This is kind of the perfect family car as well. It's a great size, really nimble, good on fuel. They're just all around really decent vehicles, and being a Honda, again, just talking about reliability, you're never really gonna have any major issues, so long as you keep up with general maintenance. Okay, so we're on the inside here of this 07 CRV, and obviously I'm in the driver's side on the passenger side. This is not all that odd for me. Everything I drive on a daily basis for the most part is right-hand drive, so this is not terribly unique for me. The point is, this is pretty much the same as anything you would buy here. There's really no difference. The only difference, a major difference, that every right-hand drive Japanese manufactured vehicle has is that the stalks are switched. So your signal lights become your wiper blades, and your wiper blades become your signal lights. So it's always the stalk that's closest to the window or the door. Even on a left-hand drive vehicle, it's the stalk that's closest to the door that's your signal light. So in the same sense, this is signals and this is wiper blades. But if you're not used to driving right-hand drive very often, and even in my case, I will mess this up 100% because my Audi is the same. It's how it's supposed to be. The signals are on the left and the wipers are on the right, even though the steering wheel is on the right side of the vehicle. But anyway, in this case, they are swapped. So if you're new to driving right-hand drive, one of the very first things you will do, the very first time you go to signal, you will turn on the wiper blades, I promise. I don't know anybody that hasn't done that the first time they've ever driven right-hand drive. Otherwise, I mean, the interior is in excellent condition for the age. Again, the mileage has a lot to do with that. Just basic cloth seating. They aren't heated, I don't believe. Nope, no heat. Not heated seats, really just bare bones, but everything that you'd need anyway on a daily basis. The radio in this, despite it being Japanese, and being completely in Japanese, except for a few buttons along the side, these are easily replaceable with an aftermarket unit, so it's not the end of the world at all.
In the back seat of the CRV, there's not much to report. I can tell you that being 6 feet tall, if the seat in front of me is adjusted for me, it would be a little bit tight, but right now it is pushed forward a little bit. So this is a perfect small family vehicle. If you're not 6 feet tall, you'll be perfectly fine in the back. It's quite comfortable. It even has the sliding option here, which is great if you do need a little bit more storage space in the very back of it, which is actually quite spacious in the back too for the size of this vehicle. So you do get good trunk space, doesn't matter how the seat is set. Yeah, not much to report.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring. It is kind of boring.
Jeffrey, how is this to drive?
It's really quite nice. I don't know what to really say about it.
Yeah, it's a CRV.
This is different than any of the other stuff we've driven.
Yeah.
And it's not very fast, and it's not very fun. But it's comfortable. I will give it that. It's comfortable. Yeah. It's got automatic climate control. It's got really good heat.
It's got a factory Japanese radio. This is your, like, is it even showing? Yeah, it's showing us somewhere in Japan right now.
Yeah.
So that's not...
Yeah, we're moving around Japan.
That's not accurate.
We are...
But it is cool.
Not even close to Japan.
No. Yeah, not really much to say about this one from like an in-car perspective. I mean, if you've ever bought or been around this generation of CRV, it's the same. It's just that the steering wheel's on the other side. Which, you know what, from an import perspective, it's kind of a good thing, because finding parts for these is no different than finding parts for a North American version, except for the steering rack and like some steering components, obviously. Brake components as well, because the brake booster's on the other side. There's a few things that are a little bit different, but for the most part, I mean, yeah, a lot of the parts are going to be completely interchangeable. Got that Honda reliability, so you know that, you know, for the most part, it's not going to leave you stranded, probably.
Yeah, that's a K24.
Right.
They're good, right?
K-Series.
Yeah, it's K-Series.
Yeah. It's got double glove compartment. That's interesting. I don't know really what you'd even put in here. I think this is really where like the manuals and stuff are supposed to go. It's funny too, because fully Japanese vehicles, a lot of the controls are completely in English. Like, this is all in English. It's no different than a USDM version, like manufactured the exact same. And even on the radio, you get some of the buttons, volume, audio, and source, that are in English, and then all these other function buttons along the bottom are actually Japanese.
I found that really strange.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like a 50-50, hey, we're gonna do these with this and those with that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really a, and to this day, I don't know why it's like that. It's just something kind of quirky.
Yeah, like all the steering wheel controls, everything's in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the button even on the, I'm assuming that's for stability control or something.
Oh yeah, on the other side there, yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
And the stocks are all in English. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. Ultimately, this is a Japanese manufacturer making a car only ever destined for Japan, so it's kind of interesting. Excuse the equipment in the back, but decent seating, good visibility. That is the one thing with these cars. There's a ton of visibility. Windows are nice and tall.
It's really easy to do lane changes because you can see everything.
Yeah. These are fairly nimble too. They're small on the smaller end, because most SUVs from this era are quite a bit larger. But in Japan, there's always a focus to keep things nice and compact, because otherwise it gets real expensive real quick.
Now, if you want to see how much power this thing puts down,
Yeah, let's do it.
it is overwhelming. So overwhelming. Let's listen to this.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the torque. Oh. What do we do, like 60? 60?
No, we actually hit 80.
80 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, kilometers an hour.
Yeah, no power at all. No power at all, but
reliable.
It's reliable. It is capable. You can wind these things out pretty good. And you don't really ever have to worry about much as long as you're keeping up with general maintenance. All right, well, this has been a blast to review, kind of go over and do a little spotlight on something a little bit different from what we've been doing. Thank you again for watching to the end, and yeah, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.